Debbie Rowe, the dermatology assistant best known for her short-lived marriage to the king of pop, Michael Jackson, a union most notable for the birth of his first two children.
This is the extraordinary story of Debbie Rowe, the fan who lived every admirer's dream, falling in love with her idol. She wasn't just any admirer. She became the woman Michael Jackson, the king of pop himself, chose to be by his side. Their whirlwind romance captured headlines, but behind the glamour and fairy tale was a reality few ever knew. For a while, Debbie was his rock, his ride or die through chaos and controversy. But as fast as the magic began, it unraveled just as quickly. Their love story, once the envy of millions, came to an unexpected and heartbreaking end. Devastated and overwhelmed, Debbie vanished from the public eye, choosing solitude over the glare of flashing cameras. For years, she stayed silent, letting the world speculate. But now, the silence is over. Debbie Rowe is finally ready to step out of the shadows and speak her truth. No more rumors, no more half-truths. Just her voice, her story, raw, real, and long overdue. So take a moment, breathe it in, and prepare to journey back through the highs and heartbreaks of a life once lived under the brightest spotlight. Because the world is listening, and Debbie Rowe is finally ready to be heard. Story behind Debbie Rowe. Debbie Rowe, born on December 6, 1958, in Spokane, Washington, emerged into the public eye through her marriage to pop icon Michael Jackson. Raised primarily by her mother and aunts after her parents' divorce, Rowe's life took a dramatic turn when she met Jackson while working as a dermatology assistant. This role placed her directly in the orbit of one of the world's most famous individuals. Their relationship garnered immense media attention, folding Rowe into the legacy of Michael Jackson amid overwhelming scrutiny and speculation. Their union, highlighted by its Sydney, Australia wedding in 1996 and the birth of two children, became a focal point of public and media inquiry, particularly concerning the dynamics of their marriage and subsequent divorce in 1999. From the initial sparks of their connection in the late 1980s, their controversial marriage, to the roles they later navigated as co-parents. Keep your seatbelts on as I ultimately uncover Debbie Rowe's confession about the final truth about her marriage and the allegations against Michael Jackson. Early relationship with Michael Jackson. Debbie Rowe first met Michael Jackson in 1986 while working as a dermatology assistant for Dr. Arnold Klein, a Beverly Hills dermatologist who treated many Hollywood celebrities, including Jackson. At the time, Jackson was receiving treatment for his skin condition, which brought them together professionally. Over time, their relationship grew beyond work as they connected over their personal struggles, including unhappy marriages, and offered each other emotional support. Rowe's role in Jackson's life gradually deepened. After Jackson's marriage to Lisa Marie Presley ended in 1996, Rowe, who had long admired Jackson, volunteered to have his children. This came after Presley declined Jackson's wish to start a family in 1995. Rowe's offer aligned perfectly with Jackson's dream of becoming a father, a desire encouraged by his mother, Katherine Jackson, who urged him to marry Rowe to avoid negative public opinion about having a child out of wedlock. Their friendship, founded on shared health challenges and emotional support, became the cornerstone of their relationship. Rowe stood by Jackson during some of his most difficult moments, including the 1993 child sexual abuse allegations and his rocky marriage with Presley. Their bond was more than friendship. It was built on deep understanding and unwavering support during turbulent times. This strong foundation ultimately led to their marriage in November 1996, soon after it was announced that Rowe was pregnant with Jackson's child. The private wedding of Debbie Rowe and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's marriage to Debbie Rowe was a complex affair, shrouded in secrecy and marked by unconventional arrangements. On November 13, 1996, the couple married at Sydney's Sheraton on the Park Hotel, with only a select few aware of the event. On the eve of the wedding, Jackson received approval from Presley over a phone call, and with her blessing, he and Rowe exchanged vows in the presence of 15 friends at the hotel. Jackson's 8-year-old nephew Anthony stood as the best man during the ceremony. This secrecy extended to the public announcement, which was only made through Jackson's Los Angeles-based publicist, Ms. Christina Holivas. The nature of their relationship and subsequent marriage was significantly different from Jackson's previous highly publicized marriage to Lisa Marie Presley. Unlike his relationship with Presley, which was often in the public eye, his union with Rowe was more private and, to many, seemed like a stark contrast.
At the time, widespread opinion of their surprise wedding was that it was a publicity stunt and a marriage of convenience.
After his divorce from Presley was finalized, Jackson's subsequent marriage to Rowe was perceived by many as a strategic move, influenced by his mother Catherine's urging due to her religious beliefs and fear of backlash for having a child out of wedlock. Rowe's relationship with Jackson began while she was working as a nurse in the office of Jackson's dermatologist, where they developed a close bond. Despite this closeness, the marriage was reportedly devoid of traditional romantic love, with Rowe acting more as a surrogate, agreeing to bear Jackson's children via artificial insemination. They never lived together or shared a bed, and their interactions were often described as more performative than genuine, particularly in front of cameras. Media and public reaction to their marriage was largely negative, with commentators and fans speculating that Jackson did not truly love Rowe and that the marriage was merely a business arrangement. This perception was further complicated by Rowe's own expectations of the relationship. Initially, having a significant crush on Jackson, she hoped the marriage would lead to a deeper romantic connection, which never materialized. Her disappointment grew when she discovered that Jackson had moved another woman into his Neverland ranch, which led to her demanding more parental involvement with their children. Lisa Presley's view of Debbie Rowe. Lisa Presley was well aware of Debbie Rowe's affection for Michael Jackson and was among the few who supported him during the turbulent times of the 1993 allegations. Despite this, Presley did not see Rowe as a romantic threat, largely due to Rowe's unassuming appearance and simple style of dress, which contrasted sharply with the glamorous world they inhabited. This perception allowed Presley to maintain a comfortable distance, viewing Rowe more as a supportive friend to Jackson rather than a potential rival. Jackson and Presley's relationship was marked by both public fascination and personal turmoil. The union of the King of Pop and the daughter of rock and roll legend Elvis Presley was highly publicized and captured the imagination of fans worldwide. Their marriage on May 26, 1994 seemed like a fairy tale romance, but behind the glitz and glamour lay a tumultuous relationship fraught with challenges. One of the key issues that strained their marriage was their differing views on starting a family. Jackson, eager to become a father, expressed a strong desire to have children soon after their wedding. However, Presley, who already had children from a previous marriage, was not ready to rush into expanding their family. This fundamental disagreement caused tension and discord within their relationship. In a revealing interview, Presley disclosed the pressure she felt from Jackson to have children. She recounted how he would mention his friend Debbie Rowe, suggesting that she could bear his children if Presley was unwilling. Despite feeling hurt by Jackson's words and actions, Presley defended him, attributing his behavior to a lack of understanding rather than malice. Presley's decision to prioritize stability and a conducive environment for raising children reflected her deep-seated beliefs about parenthood and family life. She recognized the importance of providing a nurturing and secure home before bringing children into the world, a sentiment that resonated with many. So, because she and Michael did not have the type of environment that she believed that would be best for a child to grow up in, she said no to his request. But can one blame her? She already had a child from a previous marriage, and as a mother, she definitely would have known what was best for a child that would be raised by two megastars that have little to no privacy. Ultimately, the strain caused by their conflicting desires and external pressures took its toll on their marriage, leading to their eventual divorce in 1996. Despite the end of their romantic relationship, Presley maintained a sense of empathy and understanding towards Jackson, acknowledging his complexities and the challenges he faced. Why Debbie Rowe chose to have Michael Jackson's children. Debbie Rowe's decision to have children with Michael Jackson was deeply intertwined with her feelings for him and his expressed desires. Initially, Rowe became pregnant after Jackson's divorce from Lisa Marie Presley, but tragically suffered a miscarriage in March 1996, which was a profound loss for her. Motivated by her affection and loyalty to Jackson, Rowe offered to bear his children, a proposal that came after Presley was hesitant about pregnancy due to potential custody battles. Rowe's actions were driven by her desire to fulfill Jackson's longing to become a father. This decision was not about her own desire to be a mother, as she candidly stated, "I did it for him to become a father, not for me to become a mother." Her role as a surrogate mother began with the birth of their first child, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., Prince, in February 1997, followed by their daughter, Paris Michael Catherine Jackson, in April 1998. Despite the unconventional nature of their arrangement, Rowe's decisions were rooted in a complex mix of personal feelings and practical considerations. She knew that their relationship would lack intimacy and that Jackson would continue his life as he pleased. Rowe's understanding of the dynamics of their relationship reflects a pragmatic approach to her role as the mother of his children. Emphasizing her primary goal was to facilitate Jackson's dream of fatherhood. But was she just blinded by her love for him and decided to be that sacrificial lamb? Rowe's relationship with Jackson evolved over the years, leading to her increasing dissatisfaction with their arrangement. This discontent eventually led her to request a divorce. Following Rowe's request for divorce, which was granted in April 2000, she received a settlement of approximately $10 million. This settlement included an initial payment of $1.5 million. As part of the divorce agreement, Rowe relinquished her custody rights to their children, Michael Jr. and Paris, granting Jackson full custody. This legal process marked the formal end of their marital relationship and established the terms for their future arrangements regarding their children. Despite the end of their marriage, Rowe's initial decision to have Jackson's children was marked by a mix of personal sacrifice and a deep-seated desire to support someone she cared deeply about. The children's custody and parental arrangements. In October 1999, Debbie Rowe made a heartfelt declaration during an interview with KNBC, "I would never do this for money. I did this because I love him."
Debbie Rowe, the mother of Prince and Paris Jackson, is believed to be ready to seek guardianship of both children and would apparently gladly care for their brother Blanket as well.
"That's the only reason I did this." These words capture the complex and deeply personal nature of Rowe's involvement with Michael Jackson and their children. A relationship marked by love, legal battles, and evolving roles over the years. Debbie Rowe's role in the lives of her children with Michael Jackson, Prince, and Paris was far from straightforward. Although she was their biological mother, she was not a constant presence during their early years. Instead, the children were mostly cared for by a dedicated team of nannies and nurses at Jackson's Neverland Ranch. This arrangement suited Michael's vision of fatherhood, where he sought to create a controlled environment for his children, while Rowe's role remained more peripheral. The legal and financial aspects of their relationship were substantial. When Rowe and Jackson divorced in April 2000, Michael was awarded full custody of their children. Rowe, in return, received a significant divorce settlement amounting to $8.5 billion, which included not only cash, but also assets such as a luxury SUV and a Beverly Hills home. Beyond this, she accepted an additional $2 million in exchange for signing a confidentiality agreement, underscoring the sensitive nature of their split and the desire for privacy regarding their family matters. Rowe's initial visitation rights were limited and highly regulated. She was allowed to visit her children once every 45 days, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., under the watchful eye of a nanny to ensure supervision. Additionally, if Michael was unable to care for the children for more than 3 weeks, Rowe would have temporary custody. Despite these arrangements, Rowe herself stated, "My kids don't call me mom because I don't want them to. They're Michael's children." This statement reflected her acknowledgement of Jackson's primary parental role and her own more background position in their upbringing. The 2003 documentary, Michael Jackson, The Footage You Were Never Meant to See, highlighted the tension surrounding Rowe's parenting role. When interviewer Martin Bashir pressed Jackson on whether Rowe was capable of handling her children, Jackson's hesitations and evasive responses hinted at a deeper skepticism. He seemed to believe that Rowe was not the type of mother he envisioned raising his children. This sentiment foreshadowed the eventual transfer of custody to his mother, Katherine Jackson, after his untimely death in 2009. Following Michael Jackson's passing, the custody dynamic shifted once more. Katherine Jackson was appointed permanent guardian of Prince Paris and their younger half-brother, Blanket. Debbie Rowe retained visitation rights but did not receive any further financial compensation beyond her initial divorce settlement. Importantly, the terms of her visitation were to be supervised and determined by a child psychologist, ensuring the children's best interests remained the priority. In 2009, Rowe settled into a visitation arrangement that allowed her supervised time with the children. However, by 2014, concerns about the children's care under Katherine Jackson's guardianship emerged. Rowe, citing Katherine's advanced age and her own financial stability from a successful horse breeding business in Palmdale, California, filed for custody. She voiced worries about the children's living conditions and questioned whether Katherine and the co-guardian, Michael's nephew, T.J. Jackson, who was often on tour and away, were providing the attentive care the children needed. Rowe's custody petition reflected a broader anxiety about the influence of Michael Jackson's brothers on the children, particularly Jermaine Jackson, whom Rowe feared could have a negative impact. She expressed a desire to relocate all 3 children to her ranch, where she could offer them a stable, nurturing environment surrounded by her own family and business operations. However, Rowe made it clear that she did not intend to raise the children alone. She had recently become engaged to her longtime friend, Mark Schaffel, who shared a close bond with the children and supported her plans. Despite the seriousness of Rowe's intentions, the custody battle took an unexpected turn. Although TMZ reported in 2014 that Rowe was pursuing primary custody of Prince Paris and even Blanket, who was not her biological child, the case never advanced to a formal hearing. Rowe ultimately expressed approval of the guardianship arrangement maintained by Katherine and Tito Jackson, indicating that she would only take further legal action if the children's well-being was at risk. Debbie Rowe's journey as a mother and former partner of Michael Jackson is a story filled with emotional complexity, legal intricacies, and shifting family dynamics. Her initial motivation, rooted in love for Michael Jackson, gave way to a nuanced relationship with her children, one shaped by circumstance, custody agreements, and the tragic loss of their father. Even as she stepped back from the spotlight, Rowe's protective instincts and concern for her children's futures remained evident. Her story underscores the challenges faced by those entwined with larger-than-life figures, where personal love stories become public dramas, and the pursuit of family stability is often complicated by fame, fortune, and the demands of legacy. As the Jackson children continue to grow under the guardianship of their grandmother, Debbie Rowe's role, though less visible, remains an enduring part of their remarkable family saga. Debbie Rowe's life after divorce. Debbie Rowe's life after her divorce from Michael Jackson in 1999 saw her maintaining a low profile, focusing more on personal endeavors and less on public visibility. Despite the distance, she retained a connection with her children, although her role in their lives varied over the years. After the divorce, Rowe sold her Beverly Hills home for $1.3 million in 2005 and subsequently purchased a ranch in Palmdale. This move marked a significant shift in her living situation, reflecting her desire for a quieter, more secluded life. Rowe faced significant health challenges when she was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016.
Michael Jackson's ex-wife, Debbie Rowe, has been diagnosed with breast cancer. The 57-year-old confirmed the news to ET Monday, saying, quote, "I'm a fighter and always have been."
Fortunately, she survived the illness with her children, Paris and Prince, providing updates during her chemotherapy. This period brought her closer to her children, demonstrating their strong familial bonds despite earlier estrangements. Rowe's relationship with her daughter Paris has seen ups and downs. Paris Jackson met her mother at 13 and they began building their relationship. However, in 2018, Paris reportedly cut ties with Rowe and moved to a commune in Los Angeles. Despite these challenges, they were seen sharing a maternal embrace at Paris's concert in 2019, indicating a reconciliation or at least a moment of warmth between them. Currently, Paris considers her mother more as a friend, reflecting a unique dynamic in their relationship. Concerning her current endeavor, Debbie Rowe still owns and manages the Painted Desert Ranch, located in the California desert. This venture reflects her love for a peaceful life away from the media spotlight and her interest in animal care and ranching. Rowe's journey after her high-profile divorce illustrates a life marked by personal challenges, evolving family relationships, and a pursuit of tranquility away from public scrutiny. The infidelity rumors and Debbie Rowe's response. Debbie Rowe's relationship with Michael Jackson was often misunderstood by the public and media, leading to numerous rumors and speculations about infidelity within their marriage. Here, we explore the nuances of their relationship and Rowe's reactions to the rumors. Rowe was deeply upset by the media's portrayal of her and Jackson, particularly the derogatory labels such as freaks that were often used. This media depiction fueled public distaste for her and added strain to their personal and public lives. It was widely acknowledged that the marriage between Debbie Rowe and Michael Jackson was not based on romantic love, but was a marriage of convenience. This arrangement was primarily for the sake of having children, which both parties had an interest in for different personal reasons. Despite the public rumors, Michael Jackson was not involved with other women in the way typical infidelities are often portrayed. He found pleasure in friendships and professional relationships, distancing himself from being labeled a womanizer. His emotional and physical health was usually under strain, as evidenced by his hospitalization during stressful periods in his relationships. Contrary to the implications of convenience, Debbie Rowe had profound feelings for Michael Jackson. Having known him for over a decade, her decision to marry him and bear his children was also rooted in deep affection. despite the non-traditional nature of their relationship. Public statements on allegations against Jackson. Debbie Rowe, Michael Jackson's ex-wife, testified in his defense during his child molestation trial on two separate occasions, April 27th and April 28th, 2005. Contrary to expectations, Rowe portrayed Jackson not as a perpetrator, but as a victim of manipulation by those around him. During her testimonies, Rowe described Jackson as being surrounded by opportunistic vultures who exploited his vulnerabilities for their gain. She vehemently defended Jackson, denying that he was capable of the accusations made against him, including those detailed in the documentary Leaving Neverland. The media often depicted Michael Jackson and Debbie Rowe's relationship negatively, influencing public perception. Some commentators speculated about the paternity of their children, adding further strain and speculation to the already sensationalized coverage. In a significant interview conducted at Mark Schaffel's home in 2003, Rowe was expected to support a conspiracy charge against Jackson. However, she maintained her stance, stating Jackson was a good father and denied being scripted or rehearsed.
Then he might take a little bit of time away from the baby, but his attention is 100% on his son.
The interview, which lasted approximately 9 to 10 hours, was not without its complexities. Rowe admitted that while she was offered a list of questions beforehand, she chose not to preview them, aiming for a genuine response rather than rehearsed answers. Her primary motivation for participating was to reconnect with Jackson and their children, from whom she had been estranged since 1999. Despite her cooperation in the interview, Rowe faced challenges in re-establishing a relationship with her children. She frequently contacted Schaffel to inquire about visiting the children, but it took 9 months before she could see them. Her parental rights were later reinstated in court, although she still struggled with access to her children. Rowe's emotional attachment to Jackson and their children remained evident throughout the legal battles and public scrutiny. She expressed a desire to resume contact with Jackson during her court testimonies, highlighting the complex nature of their relationship despite the legal and media tumult. However, in a surprising turn of events, rumors started circulating about a certain conversation Debbie Rowe had with a sheriff's investigator. According to the report, Rowe referred to Jackson as a sociopath and mentioned that Jackson viewed his children as possessions. If she truly made that statement, it greatly contrasts with her public defense of Jackson, showing the multifaceted and often contradictory nature of her views toward him. Debbie Rowe speaks on Michael Jackson's Debbie Rowe, once married to Michael Jackson, provided critical insights into the pop star's struggles with particularly during her time working for Dr. Arnold Klein, Jackson's dermatologist. Her revelations have shed light on a troubling pattern of prescription misuse and its consequences. Firstly, Debbie Rowe expressed concerns about Michael Jackson's frequent visits to Dr. Arnold Klein in the 1980s and 90s, suggesting an unhealthy dependency on prescription medications. Rowe's testimony was part of a lawsuit filed by Katherine Jackson against AEG Live, accusing them of failing to properly investigate Dr. Conrad Murray, who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for administering the fatal dose of propofol to Jackson. In the documentary, TMZ Investigates Who Really Killed Michael Jackson, Rowe disclosed that Klein often prescribed medications that were unrelated to the actual treatments needed, contributing to Jackson's addiction. She also honestly admitted to her part in facilitating Jackson's access to substance, particularly Demerol, expressing deep regret for her actions. It was revealed that Klein had created fraudulent medical records and prescribed Demerol under false pretenses, further endangering Jackson's health.
Michael Jackson's ex-wife, Debbie Rowe, regrets over the pop superstar's death in a new documentary for Fox TV. The singer passed away in 2009, aged 50.
Jackson reportedly used 19 false aliases to obtain various prescriptions, with Klein maintaining detailed records of these transactions, highlighting the extent of the deception involved. Debbie Rowe has publicly expressed her remorse for not doing more to combat Jackson's addiction, acknowledging that her actions, in part, contributed to his tragic death. The unethical practices led by Klein, including allowing Rowe to write prescriptions, which is illegal, positioned him as a central figure in the ongoing legal investigations following Jackson's death. Following these revelations, some of Jackson's family members have begun to reassess Rowe's role and impact on his life, recognizing the complexity of her involvement. Impact of media on their relationship. Debbie Rowe, who has always identified as a private person, found herself thrust into an overwhelming media spotlight due to her marriage with Michael Jackson. This exposure significantly affected her personal life, especially after Jackson's death in 2009. During this period, Rowe had to publicly refute numerous rumors through her attorney, including claims questioning the biological parentage of their children and allegations that she was exploiting her parental rights for financial gain. In response to the invasive media scrutiny, Rowe took legal action in July 2009. She filed a lawsuit for defamation and invasion of privacy against an individual who leaked what were claimed to be her private emails to the television show Extra. This legal step revealed the intense pressure and invasion of personal space she endured due to her association with Jackson. Furthermore, the Jackson family expressed surprise over Rowe's candid revelations in a documentary, where she admitted feeling guilty about certain aspects of her relationship with Jackson. They were taken aback because Rowe was not typically in the company of Jackson's closest celebrity friends, like Elizabeth Taylor or Liza Minnelli, but rather, she was around during interactions with other celebrities such as Teddy Riley and Lionel Richie, and later, Chris Tucker and will.i.am. Rowe's relationship with Michael's family. Debbie Rowe's interactions with Michael Jackson's family were complex and evolved over time, influenced by various personal and public factors. Here's an overview of her relationships with key family members and associated figures. Debbie Rowe's relationship with her daughter Paris Jackson saw significant changes over the years. Initially, Paris had little contact with Rowe during her early childhood. The mother-daughter duo reconnected when Paris was 13 years old, marking the beginning of a new phase in their relationship. However, by 2018, Paris decided to move to a commune in Topanga Canyon, Los Angeles, indicating a shift in their relationship dynamic once again. On the other hand, Dr. Arnold Klein, the dermatologist who treated Michael Jackson, was reportedly preparing a legal case concerning the children, which sparked speculation about his relationship with Rowe and potential collusion. This situation led to suspicions among forum members regarding Klein and Rowe's involvement in Jackson's life and the implications it had on the family dynamics. Following Michael Jackson's funeral in September 2009, Debbie Rowe developed and maintained a relationship with Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother. This relationship appears to have been one of mutual respect and shared concern for the welfare of Michael's children, bridging the gap between Rowe and the Jackson family matriarch. Michael Jackson's relationship with his siblings was characterized by love, but lacked closeness. Similarly, Debbie Rowe's interactions with Jackson's siblings were limited. She focused more on her direct connections with Michael and their children, rather than extending her involvement to the broader Jackson family network. Throughout her years of knowing Michael Jackson, Rowe maintained a level of discretion about their private life. Unlike Lisa Presley, who publicly shared details about her relationship with Jackson through a book in 2019, Rowe chose not to write a book, participate in interviews, or speak negatively about Jackson. Her approach to handling private information about Michael Jackson remained consistent, emphasizing her respect for their shared past and the privacy of their family matters. Debbie Rowe's reaction to Michael Jackson's death. Debbie Rowe, Michael Jackson's ex-wife, has openly expressed a profound sense of personal responsibility for his death in 2009, which was caused by a cardiac arrest due to an overdose of the sedative propofol. Her involvement in his life, particularly during times when Jackson faced severe health challenges, has led her to feel a significant burden of guilt. Debbie Rowe has stated that she feels partly responsible for Michael Jackson's tragic end. She equates herself to the person who administered the final fatal dose of propofol, highlighting her deep emotional turmoil over his death. Her reflections on the past include remorse for not doing more to intervene in Michael Jackson's prescription medication practices. Her role in his life at various points, including firing personnel who might have offered more stable influences, adds to her feelings of culpability. To make matters worse, the inconsolable Debbie Rowe discovered that she and Michael's daughter, Paris, tried to take her life when she heard of her father's death, which led to her hospitalization. Rowe revealed that she had been in regular contact with Paris until she was hospitalized on June 5, 2013, prompting concerns about her well-being. Rowe described Paris as devastated and feeling like she had no life following her father's death. Rowe testified in the lawsuit filed by Jackson's mother against AEG Live LLC concerning the circumstances surrounding Jackson's death. However, AEG Live LLC has denied hiring Conrad Murray or assuming any responsibility for Michael Jackson's death. Marvin S. Putnam, the company's lead defense attorney, argued in opening statements that the lawsuit revolved around Jackson's personal decisions and his preference for using propofol as a sleep aid. Thanks for watching. To enjoy more thrilling stories that uncover the reality of your favorites, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.